Donald Trump started an unjustifiable, illegal, and immoral war with Iran because he wanted us distracted from the Epstein files. And now Donald Trump's war has gone so badly that he wants us distracted from the distraction. But Donald Trump, as we have said so many times, is clearly in cognitive and physical decline. He and the rest of his administration, full of idiots and goobers, cannot spin this. And Trump certainly can as well, because he is too busy slurring and sleeping. That is what we saw today as Donald Trump held a meeting at the White House that was supposed to be about AI, but instead he turned it into a conversation that went very poorly about Iran because he couldn't speak, and then he fell asleep. But it all started with the spin that Carolyn Levitt tried to put on CNN, just covering the fact that 6 service members have lost their lives because the president is a pedoprotector who will do whatever Israel asked him. It's where I want to start before we get to a slurring, sleepy Trump and all of his sickness. It's Caitlin Collins causing a Carolyn Levitt meltdown over Donald Trump's distraction war.
You just mentioned that the president is going to attend the dignified transfer for these families. Given what Secretary Hegseth said this morning, is it the position of this administration that the press should not prominently cover the deaths of U.S. service members?
No, it's the position of this administration that the press in this room and the press across the country should accurately report on the success of Operation Epic Fury and the damage it is doing to the rogue Iranian regime that has threatened the lives of every single American in this room. If the Iranian regime had their choice, they would kill every single person in this room. And so we can all be very grateful that we have an administration and that we have men and women in our armed forces who are willing to sacrifice their own lives for the rest of us in this room and for every American across the country and for every troop that is based in the Middle East. That's what these...
Hegseth was complaining that it was front page news about these 6 service members who were killed.
That's not what the secretary said, Caitlin, and that's not what the secretary meant, and you know it. You know you are being disingenuous. There is not... We've never had a secretary of defense who cares more...
Get through where tragic things happen. It's front page news. I get it. The press only wants to make the president look bad.
Yeah,
as you know, we cover the deaths of U.S. service members under every president.
The press does only want to make the president look bad. That's a fact. Especially you. No, listen to me. Especially you and especially CNN. And the Secretary of Defense cares deeply about our war fighters and our men and women in uniform. He travels all across this country to meet with them, to connect with them, and your network has hardly ever probably reported on that. You also had the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, Chairman Kane, who's a brave patriot, standing alongside the secretary at the Pentagon this morning, again expressing his condolences to these families. And I just told you that the President of the United States will be attending their dignified transfer. So please,
that's not making the president look bad. That's showcasing that.
We expect you to cover that as you should. We expect you to cover that as you should, Caitlin. But you and your network know that you take every single thing this administration says and tries to use it to make the president look bad. That is an objectable fact.
I don't think covering troop deaths is trying to make.
If you're trying to argue right now that CNN's overwhelming coverage is not negative of President Donald Trump, I think the American people would tend to agree, and your ratings would tend to disagree with that as well. Go ahead.
Thank you so much on the school strike.
Is Carolyn Levitt upset about the fact that Caitlin Collins is doing her job? It seems like Levitt is angrier that there is a question being asked about the lives that were lost, American service members, 6 lives that were lost, than she is about the fact that lives were lost. But of course, that is this administration. It is uncaring. It is unfeeling. They just want to play victim even when they are the ones causing the harm. And Donald Trump will tell you why they are causing that harm, because they've been searching for a real answer. And he just admitted it before he went on his unable to speak slurring tour. The one statement he could get out clearly, why we went to war.
Years they've been killing our people and killing people from all over the world. And I think we have great support. And I think if we didn't do it first, they would have done it to Israel and give us a shot if that was possible.
It's Israel. It's Israel. That is why we went to war. Because as we saw Senator Chris Van Hollen say, Bibi Netanyahu was finally able to find a president stupid enough and in enough cognitive decline that he could get him to go to war with Iran. That is what Netanyahu has been wanting and advocating for and begging for his entire adult life. And now Donald Trump is stupid enough and uncaring enough about the job of being president that he's happy to let Americans die and put us all in danger to serve Israel. Those $250 million that came from Miriam Adelson, yeah, they certainly bought a lot in this administration. And Donald Trump is now just a puppet of Netanyahu. He is being played by everyone around him, and it's pretty easy because he can't speak and he keeps falling asleep.
CEO of Oracle, Clay Muthquark. Many Americans are still concerned that the massive energy demand from AI data centers could drive up their electricity bills in the future, and we understand that. By 2035, energy demand is expected to more than triple. Can you believe it? A lot of it is AI, and it's also all these big plants that are being built all over the country. They're your electric bills will actually come down. It'll take a little while, but not long.
So a lot of slurring, a lot of mispronouncing from the president of the United States, who is deeply in cognitive decline. I really don't know what else we could call it at this point, but it didn't stop there, because after Donald got through, or didn't get through, I guess I should say, a bunch of words, the great struggle of this presidency now, basic English, he decided that the conversation around AI, the AI that is stealing American jobs already, that is ratcheting up the cost of your electric bills, Donald Trump was so bored with all of that, he decided he's just going to take a little snooze.
Anywhere on the planet. And today we recognize that building the future requires massive amounts of reliable energy. And I'm grateful to you, Mr. President, for acting so decisively to ensure that the growing demands of energy that we have are never passed to the American households.
This is the state of our country and our government right now. It really does perfectly encapsulate what is happening. Donald Trump is asleep at the wheel, and every one of his supporters are still claiming that he is in the greatest shape of anyone's life, that he runs marathons daily, that he's up until the wee hours of the night and early hours of the morning. He's just so smart and so strong, while the tech oligarchs who literally put him in the White House are talking about how they are going to steal your job, profit massively, all while the president of the United States, in the moments that he does wake up, is excited to go watch his war that he was stupid enough to start because a foreign country controls our government. If that is not the saddest picture I could possibly paint with a droopy eye to Donald Trump, I don't know what else could be. That is America right now. Israel controls the president, and when he's asleep, big tech steps in, and they run everything else. With J.D. Vance and Peter Thiel and Elon Musk ripping apart our government, selling it for parts, and then using those dollars to give themselves a bigger tax cut or spend more money on AI military tools or data surveillance. That's the country. And that is pretty disappointing, I think, to say the least, because it somehow only got worse from there today. Donald Trump not being able to speak wasn't the only example of a tongue-tied member of this administration. Was Kristi Noem when she was pressed on her affair once again before Congress? Yeah, it only got worse.
So according to the Wall Street Journal, you and Mr. L have a close relationship that has made President Trump, quote, uncomfortable. The president reportedly denounced Corey Lewandowski as your chief of staff due to reports of a romantic relationship between the two of you. So instead, you designated him as a special government employee, a position he has had well beyond the allowed 130 days and requires him to disclose if he is making money off of his position. Trump knows that this guy is shady. Corey has a decades-long record of physical battery, sexual harassment, illegal lobbying for a Venezuelan oil company, and bringing a loaded gun into a federal building. Despite being fired or removed from virtually every position he has ever held due to misconduct, he now wields unchecked, unconfirmed, undisclosed power over your department. This person has no experience running anything close to Department of Homeland Security or even advising someone in your position. He is unqualified, which again has left my constituents and I wondering why he is your top official. So Secretary Noem, at any time during your tenure as Director of Department of Homeland Security, have you had sexual relations with Corey Lewandowski?
Mr. Chairman, I am shocked that we're going down and peddling tabloid garbage in this committee today.
Reclaiming my
ma'am,
time.
one thing that I would tell you is that he is a special government employee who works for the White House. There are thousands of them in the federal government.
So reclaiming
and
my
is an
time,
advisor
Secretary, it is
and has
okay for
no,
you to be
no
offended
authority
by
to
the
be making
question.
any
It is
decisions.
okay for you to
has
be
no
offended
authority
by the
to
question.
be making
But it is
decisions
also
and
a
putting
real
up positions.
question.
So what I would say
And
to
you should be able to
is
answer
that
the
what we do at the
question
Department of Homeland Security
clearly
every single
and without
day,
any hesitation.
every single day is to protect
if
this
someone
country
is
and to
asking
make
if
decisions.
you or any federal official is sleeping with their subordinate, that should be the easiest. You should be wanting to answer that question.
Is garbage?
Because it is not about
It is
your sex
offensive
life.
that you have brought
It is
that up.
about your
So
judgment.
that kind of garbage
It is
has
about
been refuted
reclaiming
for
my
years,
time so
and
that
you
I
need
can
to
hear myself
recognize-
share.
Time belongs to the gentlelady from California, but it'd be nice if you would let her respond.
I will. I want to let you know it is about your judgment and decision-making. It is about the 260,000 employees that work under you that want to make sure that you are giving information and making decisions clearly. That work under you, that want to make sure that you are giving information and making decisions clearly. It is about conflict of interest.
What are we doing at this point? Oh, that's tabloid stuff? You have a bed in the back of your $90 million plane that we pay for, that you say is for deportations, and he's openly your little love bug, your little boy toy, and you're saying it's ridiculous for members of Congress to ask you those questions, Kristi? That is their job. What your job isn't is fucking in the back of the plane on our dime. But that is what this administration has done. Taken every dollar they can and have literally screwed us from the skies. and it just keeps getting worse. And I know that that is not a positive place to leave this, but what I can tell you is positive is the win that we saw from James Tallarico last night, the meltdown it triggered from Donald Trump, in the hope that Democrats aren't just going to retake the House and retake the Senate, but are going to do so in historic fashions in states that we did not, as the people outside, or maybe MAGA supporters, they're not too thrilled if you heard the honking, but we have the opportunity to flip historic seats in historic ways. That is something to look forward to. And we can do so by talking about the fact that Kristi Noem is a fucking bitch, and maybe we should take her big purse away from her. I don't know. That seems like great messaging to me. We're certainly going to be covering it all on this show. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video. If you stuck around to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. Keep on fighting, y'all. Don't let them silence you. Until next time, I'll see you soon.